Hi, this is Marcel of Marcel on Tech, and today I am covering quite a big area that's quite important to my day job, but also I think increasingly important to you as well as my viewers. And I'm talking about health trackers and what is the difference between some of the huge variations that exist. And I do get people asking me questions all the time about smartwatches and health trackers. And I want to go through 3 of the ones that I've been using most recently and why I think you might want to consider them as well. Let's get into it. Okay, so today we are talking about the Huawei Band 8, the cheapest, obviously, budget option. This is about 50 euros or about 50 pounds, which is really good value. Then we've got the Huawei Buds Watch, which is not necessarily a fitness tracker, but it does all the fitness aspects, but also has this dual capacity of having built-in earbuds as well, which is really, really cool. If you want to watch that video, make sure you follow the link above, and I'll make sure I link that in. Very cool watch, but it also has all the health tracking capabilities that all the other watches in their range have as well. And then we have the Whoop 4.0, which is your classic health tracker and obviously isn't a smart watch. Now, you may not know that already, but this actually doesn't have a watch capacity, but it does have all the health tracking capacities that you might want and is pretty detailed. But what I want to do is I do want to make this because there are a plethora of videos on YouTube about each one of these items. So what I want to do, rather than take up too much of your time, I want to talk you through the main differences between them, one of which I've just mentioned about the Whoop band, but also whether you should consider spending the money that you would spend on something like the Whoop band and what the differences are between this and, let's say, something like this. So let's get a much closer look at each of the bands as we look at them directly. Okay, so taking a closer look, here we have the Huawei Watch Buds, and this bad boy, which you may or may not know, has the function of a push button here, which then lifts up the screen, and we have concealed earbuds here. Again, watch my video on this, whether or not that's something you're into. It is a very, very cool sort of prototype watch, if I'm honest. But it does work really well in the capacity of a fitness tracker. I've worn it for workouts, I've worn it to play paddle, and it's been absolutely fine. Now, obviously, it doesn't have the most fit for purpose, but this is interchangeable, and it hasn't been a problem, obviously, to clean when sweating, etc. Then we have the Huawei Band 8, which is their latest version of their super budget band, which has exactly the same Harmony OS operating system as this one, but of course its watch faces are unique, but the layout of, for example, heart rate sensing, SpO2, sleep patterns, etc. are all going to be exactly the same, and it all correlates with the same app as well, which is very, very handy. Now, of course, we are also looking at the Whoop 4.0 here, which, as you can see, has zero screen on it. It's got one flashing, well, it's got lots of green lights under there, but it's got one green light at the back here for connectivity and battery, etc. And that's it. You've got no functional way of interacting with this band other than through the app, which it will sync with and upload data to every time you open the Whoop app. So this is what they look like. Obviously, this band comes in various different colors and it is easily forgettable. It's very lightweight and it is very much laid out for simplicity. And again, it is very, very reliable in terms of the heart rate readings. I've used this and this together to see if there is any difference between the readings, and they've always matched up really, really nicely. So the Buds watch has got a good sensor on it, as has the band. But the reliability in terms of the metrics and detail within the app on the Whoop has just been next level. But unfortunately, as a result of that, you do have to pay a bit of a premium. So let's talk about that now. So in conclusion, the watches are obviously very, very functional for the purpose of time telling, etc. The watch faces, personalization, things like that. But the reality of it is if we're looking at the Huawei brand, the one reason I tested this brand is because actually for their health tracking, in particular heart rate monitoring capabilities, they are excellent regardless of which one you use. Now the Huawei Buds Watch Watch Buds is a little bit more accurate, but really if you're spending 50 euros and you're just looking for something that is light, forgettable, and easy to carry around with a very long battery life, then you can wear the band very, very comfortably and get reliable information about your heart rate, your sleep patterns, your movement, your stress, your strain, all that stuff presented really nicely in the app, which is very much the same as what you're getting if you spend 450 euros or dollars on this premium watch. Same deal obviously applies. Again, I've also tested out the GT4 watch. Again, a link to that will be above, and that watch is excellent, but again, the readouts, when I look back at my history, because obviously everything is synced with the one Huawei Health app, then it is really, really functional. But again, very reliable in terms of heart rates, no massive fluctuations. The ratios were very, very similar. So actually the differences were not that massive. But obviously what you're getting is where the differences lie. Much smaller screen. Here you've got buds involved. So just really what you're looking for in addition to the health capacities as well. Now, in regard to the Whoop, where this is the most different, is that you're not getting a watch whatsoever. It will not tell you the time. I'm wearing it right now, and obviously when I look at it, there's literally nothing on the front there, as we already saw. The setup process was a little bit annoying actually, but the point is to leave this on at all times. Where you put it is up to you. You can actually have it on your bicep, you can put it inside underwear, they sell clothes with that. Quite interesting, I haven't done that myself. But nonetheless, the health metrics that you get have been very much on par in terms of heart rate reading and the corresponding results around that to the Huawei. Now, Huawei have somehow managed to compete with what is probably one of the leading health trackers in the world in their watches. But the difference is you don't pay for this when you get it. You actually sign up for free. You receive the watch, obviously providing your bank details. And after 1 month's trial, you actually get to then start paying for it, either for an annual subscription or a monthly one. Now, those are not necessarily cheap. If you buy for the year up front, you pay about 240 euros, which is obviously much more expensive than this, but much cheaper than this. Or you can pay monthly, which is 30 euros, and obviously that's going to work out a little bit more expensive over the year. But nonetheless, that subscription continues on and on and on. So obviously if you keep it for 5 years, you do the math, you're going to be paying a lot more money for this than you would do for this. Now, if anything goes wrong, they will replace it. And if they upgrade the watch, they'll also send you out another one, which is pretty cool. But it's also what you'd expect for a subscription-based service. But what are you getting in terms of the app? Well, the Whoop app is very detailed, very immersive and extensive. You can look at your phone and get all the details about your workouts, your strain, what they refer to as restrain, recovery, and sleep. And you really can get very, very immersed in that whole world. And it can become a little bit obsessive as well. However, if you are an athlete or you're looking to increase your physical abilities, then this is definitely an advantageous piece of equipment that, if it's affordable for you, would definitely function well for you, because it does take into account your nutrition, your use of supplements, perhaps CBD involvement, alcohol consumption, and all these factors are super relevant. Now, I've got 2 bands on to demonstrate that actually you can have this on either wrist and pretty much forget about it, as well as having a functional watch. Obviously, I've been testing them, so that's why I was wearing them both. But this is very much also a fashionable item. You can change the colors, the bands, the materials. There's lots of variation. The price varies as a result as well. But in terms of the information you get, it is very good. So, do you need to spend 260 euros a year on this? No. But if you are an aspiring athlete or you have the budget to measure those metrics in detail, you will get more from your Whoop band in terms of information relating to your health and fitness than you will do from either one of these. But if you're looking for general fitness measurements, heart rate improvements, sleep patterns, the Huawei on this case were completely reliable as well. So it really does depend on how seriously you're taking your exercise, and it also depends massively on how important to you are the detail in the metrics. You can get plenty of detail from the Huawei, but it's not as obsessively immersive as the Whoop. Okay, so hopefully you got some value from that. I hope you realize that it is based on practicalities as well as how seriously you want to take your health and fitness. And if you think you have a problem, but you don't want something that is going to ping at you, give you notifications, or tell you the time, the Whoop is ideal. If you need it for everything else, like notifications, telling the time, measuring different metrics, maybe telling you map directions, etc., controlling your music, for example, without having to get your phone out, then a smartwatch is something you're going to want to go for. And if you just want something that can do almost all those things, but a little bit less, like for example, you can't take a phone call on this one, but you can on this one, then a band is going to suit you just fine, and you need to only spend 50 euros. And I would recommend the Huawei because their sensors have been proven to be really reliable. So why not? Let me know your pick. I'd love to know what you think and what you would prefer. And then obviously put a comment below and I'd love to know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye for now.